What we're going to try to do here is to mirror the main example of the section with one of our own. And here's the problem. It says the table below shows the cost C in dollars of selling X cups of coffee per day from a cart. So they have some data, and they want us to do things with it. They want to plot the data. They want to see, hey, is it linear data? They want us to find a slope, explain what it means, and then use the slope, and then maybe answer a question that isn't about linear functions, but is about the cost of a coffee cart. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is bop back and forth between here and Desmos. If I go over to Desmos, you can see I already have entered the data. I'll turn on the data, and just so you can see what I did, right? This is the default screen. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to turn on Zoom Fit, and you can see it looks pretty linear. I just want to see to make sure I'm doing exactly what they say. Say plot the data in the table. We did that. Now it says using the graph and the table show that the relationship appears to be linear. Well, this is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to go over to little dots. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to put on lines. Now this doesn't draw a single line. What this does is draw a line between two consecutive dots. So when I turn this on, you're going to see that drawing one line from this dot to this dot, then one line from this dot to this dot. The same line worked the whole time. So this absolutely looks like linear data, which is good. Now, what else did they ask for? They said, and the table. I don't like and the table, right? If you have to show from a table that data is linear, you have to show that every possible average rate of change is exactly the same. Let me just calculate one of those so you can see what's going on. What I'm going to do is calculate, let's see here, what letters did they use? They used C and X. All right, so we're going to calculate delta C over delta X. Why don't we just do the 200 minus 100? So this is going to be 100 minus 75 divided by 200 minus 100. I believe that's going to be something like 0.25. You're going to see that, by the way, no matter which 2 points I pick, when I calculate the slope, I'll get the same. And we can at least say that much. This is the same answer we get every time. But you get the idea that showing a function is linear from a table, it really stinks. Graphically is usually a much better option. All right, let's go back and see what other questions they want us to do. They said find the slope of the line. Well, we just did that. Now, why? If you have a line, the average rate of change is always equal to the rate of change. So what I'm going to do is just make sure I'm writing this as a note. Since this is a line, the slope, m, is equal to the average rate of change every time. We showed that actually in our opening video. In that case, it actually is 0.25. And why don't we actually put some units in here? The units should be in dollars per cup. Dollars per cup. Okay, dollars per cup. I guess I like 25 cents per cup better, but hey, I use their units. All right, let's go back. It says use the slope to find the cost of selling 12 cups of coffee, then 225 cups of coffee. Now, how am I going to do that? How am I going to get 12 cups of coffee? Let's see here. Let's put this as a note and see if we can't make this work. To sell 12 cups of coffee. Actually, why don't we do this first? I'm going to find the equation because it should be something like y equals b plus mx. Y equals b plus mx. We already know m is 0.25. We also know b because b is the y-intercept, and they actually gave it to us. It's 50. So this is actually just going to be equal to 50 plus 0.25x. So when x equals 12, is that what they wanted? Was it 12? I forgot already. Yes, when it's 12, we get 50 plus 0.25 times 12. That should be 53. So that's the cost of selling 12 cups of coffee. Let's put it in another note, because I think they asked for another one. So just saying another note. Going back to 1, what do they ask for? 225 cups of coffee. Not much different. Let's see here. So when x equals 225, we get the cost is equal to 50 plus. I'm not going to like this. Let's see here. 50 plus 225 times 0.25. And now I'm going to cheat in the line below. I'm going to put 50 plus 225 times 0.25. That's going to be 106.25. And I'll put that right here. Equals 106.25. Trying to be smart about the way I'm using calculators. All right, so that should be the cost of selling 225 cups of coffee. And finally, why should it cost $50 to serve 0 cups of coffee? We'll add that as just a little note. I'm sure you could answer this better than I can, but we'll call it a note. It can cost $50 to sell 0 cups of coffee because that could be the overhead cost. The rental for the spot for the coffee cup. Rental for spot of coffee cart. Payment for person working. Other materials. Okay, that's it. At least we answered all the questions. We tried to use rates of change every time, and we tried to use a graph. You can see that what we did is we did it graphically, we did it numerically, we tried to explain everything in context, and I think that's the rule of 4. Yay for us.